Jean-Philippe and I have known one another for quite a few years, I would say. In fact, we've known one another for our entire lives. I think we were in the, sandbox together. I always thought there was a strange behavior with Jean-Philippe because when I may have been, building sand castles, he was building mounds, and then he started to stick, little twigs in those mounds. I should have known that they were planted on the southern side of the mound. And it was all very obvious that he was going to be a very talented man. And then when he started bringing gravel into the sandbox, that's when things got a little bit worrisome. But it all makes sense now. Jean-Philippe and I have been building castles and vineyards now, or at least tending them, for almost a quarter of a century together. It's always fun, it's always fascinating, and like all of you, and like the wine experience, it's about fun and the fascination and the passion of wine. So thank you for joining us today in a little journey for the wines of Château Haut-Brion.
Château Haut-Brion 2003, as you know, it was one of the warmest, hottest summer that we had in the last 100 years. In fact, I took my holidays because in France, everybody is on vacation during July and August. I took my vacation in July and came back in August. And I was in the field with the vineyard manager, and he said, you have to taste the berries. It's okay. What do you think? What? It's ready. I say, no, I don't know. It's we are the 5th of August. This is not time for harvest. I say, yes, this is time. Okay. So I called my father. This is the last vintage of my father. So I called him. He was on vacation in Corsica, beautiful island. And I said to him, Daddy, I think it's ready. You have to come back because it is maybe time to start the harvest. The only answer I had is, do you know the date of the day? Yes, I know the date of the day. You are killing? No, I'm not killing. Okay, so I will take a plane in 2 days and we will see. When he arrived at Château Haut-Brion, it was the 11th of August. I think after not few hours, not few minutes, but few seconds, after tasting 3 or 4 berries, he said, why did you call me before? Because, yes, it is time to pick up. I say, yes, it's time. So it took 2 days to call everybody because, can you imagine, on the 11th of August, to find the workers.
This is France, remember, folks, 35 hours a week.
We are in France. So, for the white, we started the harvest the 13th of August. And for the red, we started the harvest the 18th of August. And we, of course, we had to fight against temperature. We rented for the first time a refrigerator truck to put the berries in the refrigerator truck. When we start the harvest at 5 a.m. in the morning, the temperature was already above 30 degrees Celsius. And for lunch, it was above 40 degrees Celsius. So it was challenging. We started the first. I remember also that when we started the red wines, Charles Chevalier from Lafite Rothschild called me from also Corsica. I don't know for which reason. Every winemaker from Bordeaux are on vacation in Corsica. Because he read in the newspaper that we started the harvest, so he was a bit nervous. And so he said, I have to come back. I don't know, Charles. Maybe you have no white wine, so maybe it's not hurry, but just in case, I think maybe it's good to come back. And so this is maybe one of the key of the quality of this wine in terms of freshness, of balance, because we did a very fast reaction in front of the very special weather condition. So even if I said before, I have some excuse, but for this vintage, we did what I think we had to do to keep the freshness and the balance. And I hope you will enjoy, because truly it was the most difficult year for me and for my father.
Yes, it shows the heat of the vintage, and it should, because this is a wine of place, and place includes the climate of that season. But there's a freshness there, and it fits in with the vertical here that we're doing. I think you see the DNA of the vineyard. I think you see the hand of the winemaker managing the vintage to an extent, but allowing the vintage to speak. There is heat in that wine, but there is an incredible freshness as well. And that is one of the magic things about the Grave and Pessac in particular. It is not the upper Medoc, it is not the right bank. It does not rely solely on, or a majority of Cabernet Sauvignon. It does not rely on a supreme majority of Merlot. It mixes the two grapes almost equally. It is sort of the in-between land, and it is a warm spot. And so a warm spot and a warm vintage can provide some extraordinary challenges, but Haut-Brion, obviously, because of what it is, was able to handle them, and because of who Jean-Philippe is, he was able to handle them. And his father came back from vacation on time, too, so that was a help.
And now we have a special gift for you. When I say gift, it's very special. I think it's a gift. It's the Haut-Brion Blanc. It's quite rare. We produce no more than 6,000 bottles a year. It's a maximum. It's a complete nightmare. I prefer making red wines than white wines. We spend the same amount of time for making 6,000 bottles of white wines and for making 120,000 bottles of red wines. But we are very happy. I have a lot of pressure on my right to increase the quantity of the white wine, and I do my best to reduce the quantity.
Well, I hope you don't reduce the quantity too much.
I think he's referring to James, not to me.
When I taste wines, and when a lot of professional tasters taste, they often start with red and finish with white. And you may not be aware of this, but I thought it would be interesting to finish with the white. When you get an electric white after a flight of reds, it's even more electric. Robert, why won't you let him make more white wine?
Interestingly enough, we used to make much more white wine in Bordeaux, and going back to Jean-Philippe and his work, it's both easy, if you say so yourself, and very difficult, because at Haut-Brion, whether it's the white wines or the red wines, there is no formula. Every year is different. Every year is about blending. We have all of these different grape varietals in the vineyards, whether it's 2 to 3 for the whites, and obviously the 3 main ones for the reds. And he has this palette to work with. So we built up a knowledge from that, and I'm happy also that Jean-Philippe is able to help me with the production of other white wines, including the white wines of Clarendelle that we blend every year. So we make a much larger production of Clarendelle white that we do through the Haut-Brion or the La Mission Haut-Brion, or our very good and also lesser known second wine of these 2 estates, which is called La Clarté de Haut-Brion, where we make about 1,000 cases of La Clarté every year. So that's a bit of a wine lover's secret, that wine. You may not have heard about it. It used to be called Les Plantiers d'Haut-Brion. It was changed, the name was changed by me in 2009. These are different styles of wines that you would usually find in Bordeaux, because most of the Bordeaux wines would be monovarietal wines. So this blending culture that we carry has been very valuable in all of the different instances where we've taken on new projects, whether it's with Clarendelle or whether it's with our new estate on the right bank in Saint-Emilion at Quintus.
Yeah, and then the Le Clarté white actually combines fruit from Haut-Brion and La Mission Haut-Brion, which is why the production level is about 1,000 cases. So if you can't find Haut-Brion white, which is released at about $900 a bottle or so, and there is no auction price for it because it just doesn't exist. La Clarté is your best bet.
As Jean-Philippe likes to say, it's such a complex idea that we're making a second wine from 2 estates that the obvious name for it was Clarity.